Welcome to our video series on instant opt-in profits. In this video, we'll look at ways websites are collecting email opt-ins. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a number of ways websites are collecting email opt-ins. And you may be familiar with some or all of these, but I want to use this video really as a brief introduction to methods successful websites are using for collecting email opt-ins, and actually for having visitors happy to give their email contact details. Okay, I have a number of these websites open here, and let me go through each one in turn. First of all, I have Scambusters open, which is at scambusters.com and scambusters.org. And this is a large content site, and actually, this site gets a lot of publicity. It's a large content site with a lot of articles. But also, as you can see on their front page, they have a large and eye-catching box, "Don't get scammed," and they ask for the opt-in. First name, email address. So even though they give all, as far as I understand, they give all their information away for free on their site, they're also prompting to get the opt-in. And I've been subscribed to this publication for a while, and they tend to send two emails out. I forget how often it is, whether it's once a week or once a month, because I've been subscribed for so long that, to be honest, I don't always read it. But they send the first email out, which contains the entire latest issue, and a short time later, maybe a day or two later, they send the second email, which is a very quick intro, and then a link to the exact same articles. But instead of having it in an email, it's on the website. And of course, those articles are then part of the website, so that makes the website even bigger, even though it was also sent out via email. And of course, a bigger website generally means more visitors from the search engines. And also, a bigger site, when it comes to a content site, the better. And the reason they can send out one email after another is because often, with spam filters being so aggressive these days, long emails that aren't spam, they may contain one or two trigger words that make the spam filter think that the email received, even though it's just articles and even though it's purely an opt-in email, the spam filter may think it's spam and delete it automatically. So therefore, they send it a day later or a couple of days later in a much shorter version, so it's much less likely to set off the spam filter. But then, of course, the person reading it has to click through to the site to read the articles. And it is, in fact, worth mentioning that the people who run this site are very experienced and have a large number of successes under their belts. So it's worth paying attention to what they do. And I've noticed they've been sending out the two versions of the email for, I would say, at least a year or two now. I've been subscribing for a long time, and they've been sending out the two versions of the email for a long time, so it obviously doesn't cause too many complaints. And obviously it's worth doing because, as mentioned, the people running the site know what they're doing, and they would track things to see what's really working as opposed to simply guessing. Okay, so that's one example of just a content site, with the opt-in in a very prominent place, and giving some benefits for subscribing. And actually, just as a little experiment, I'm not entirely sure what the answer to this is. If I click any page, let's see if they have the opt-in box on every page. Yes, they do. It appears on every page they have the opt-in box on the top, so you can't miss it. And since it appears to be on every page, that would greatly increase their opt-ins. Okay, here's a copy. And it says issue number 117. Here's a copy of one of the emails they've sent out. And they've kept the formatting in place for this web page. Okay, that's one good case study. The next case study is the popular ebook about eBay, Silent Sales Machine. Okay, I need to refresh, and I should get a pop-up. And I may have to move the mouse. There we go. There's a short delay there, as you can see. So this is known as a floating pop-up. It basically uses special HTML code, special web page code to create a floating style pop-up. And you can enter either your details or you can close it. And actually, if you scroll down, it actually stays in focus. So the only way you can get rid of this is to subscribe or close it. So that's another style. An important point to mention about this style of pop-up, if I refresh again, the pop-up shouldn't appear. And it doesn't, because with the floating style of pop-up, it sits on top of the web page. If someone were to leave and then come back to the site, it's probably best if it doesn't appear every single time. You may want it to appear every single time, but some people set it up so it only appears once a day, for example, so you don't annoy your visitors too much. But that's just something to consider. So that's a floating style pop-up. Okay, another example. This is another site of mine, and all I use here is what is known as a squeeze page. There's the front page of the website, and there's really nowhere else to go. You can go to the support link if you want, but basically a headline, a few paragraphs of introduction, and then the opt-in. So the person visiting would either opt in. Actually, there's a link there for a demo here, but that doesn't go anywhere, just to the demo. Beyond the demo, there's nowhere further for the visitor to go. But it's basically a single page, which is, the point is to get the opt-in. The person visiting either opts in or leaves, and that's how the page, the front page of this site, is set up. There's no other particular option for them, and that's known as a squeeze page. Obviously, it depends on your type of site and your business model, but with a decent headline and compelling copy, and generally, of course, you have to give something away for free to get the opt-in. This style of page can be very successful in getting a very good percentage of visitors to opt in for the offer. And once they've opted in, you can follow up with them, until, of course, they choose to unsubscribe. Okay, here's another example, and a Newbie Club, and there are links all over the place. Well, excuse me, that's not quite true. I was going to say there's content, but the free content is only available in the members area. I'll come to that in just a moment. Basically, all the links here, okay, about us, affiliate sign up, and links to the product pages. Okay, but the main point of this page, if a person doesn't want to visit a product page and purchase immediately, they can scroll down. Lots of copy here. Click here for membership benefits, and more scrolling. Okay, lots of copy to sell this free membership. And right at the bottom, become a free member and subscribe. And when you're a member, then you can access the private content of the site. And there's a lot of content. And when you do join, you get a weekly newsletter via email. And again, you have access to all the content. So this is really, it's just another model for getting the opt-in. In a way, it's offering a free membership if they opt in. Okay. The last example on this video, I have the home page of Fred Gleek open. I would need to refresh. Okay, now I'm not sure what to call this style of pop-up. There's a free piece of software called Magic Subscriber. and if you search Google for Magic Subscriber, you should be able to access the software. And actually, there are lots of pieces of software that create this style of pop-up, but that's just one free one that I know of. So maybe I could call it Magic Subscriber Pop-up. That's probably a good enough description in this case. I can't off the top of my head think of a better name for this pop-up. But as you can see, it basically pops up with a prompt. If you cancel, it's gone, and that should pretty much be it. Okay, if I refresh, it should appear again now. And if you OK, you then subscribe. Now, the benefit of this style of pop-up, of course, is that it's very easy for the person to subscribe. It's very easy to click OK. You don't need to type anything. That's it. And actually, if I press OK now, what it does, it simply opens up an email, and the email will be sent to his autoresponder, his specific autoresponder address, to subscribe me. And you can see it automatically fills in the subject and includes my IP address. And then I would need to send that to subscribe. So that's another effective way of getting the opt-in. And actually, just out of curiosity, while I record this, if I just go to Google and type in Magic Subscriber, and let's see if we can find any easy link to get it for free. Okay, I had a quick look at Google and searched for Magic Subscriber for free, and I haven't had much luck finding an entirely free version generally. If we go here, for example, generally you have to pay for it. And actually, the software does come with resale rights, so if you have it, you can actually sell it or give it away. Okay, that's in use again, and as you can see, here it sells for $17, I think with some bonuses. And you can always search Google, but what I've done, I've paused the video, and to make things easy for you, if you go to a site of mine, www.sourcerights.com/magic.html, all lowercase, as you can see, and you can download it there. And I can save it to the desktop quickly. There we go. And it should be there any second. Let's have a look. It's downloading. Okay, almost there. There we go. Okay, let's minimize that. And on the desktop, there's the zip file. If I double-click, there we go. It contains the software files. And I'm not going to particularly talk through this in this video, but that was just a quick introduction. That's where you can get the software for free. And going back to the browser, I'll actually talk through all these methods of getting the opt-in in a later video, but that was just a quick introduction. There's the address again in case you want to download the software for free. sourcerights.com/magic.html. Okay, and just to remind you again, the main opt-in techniques I'm going to talk you through here, if you aren't familiar with them, are just having an opt-in box on a content site, generally near the top of every content page, having a floating style opt-in. It should appear in just a second. We're waiting for it to appear. There we go. Having a squeeze page that basically gives your visitors just the option of subscribing or leaving, an opt-in and free membership such as the Newbie Club does, Or if you go back, okay, I'm going to have to type it in. It's gone from memory. FredGleek.com was the example site. And having this magic subscriber style of opt-in, where cancel is no opt-in and OK is opt-in. And this style of opt-in does generally have a pretty high percentage of opt-ins because it's so easy to opt in. So those are the 5 main techniques of opt-ins that I'll be talking you through.